side today.
Can we come to order, please, if you hear me? Thank you. So good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us at the Finance Committee meeting at Hemsworth Town Council, held in the Council Chamber, Hemsworth Town Community Hall on the 10th of November at 7 p.m. Just going to the agenda then. So first of all, apologies for absence, Alan.
Councillors Eccles and Pringle.
Thank you very much. Declarations of interest. Council should disclose pecuniary or non-pecuniary interest in any items on this agenda. Before we go into public question time, it's quite common this, isn't it? Just want to maybe have a few words with you all. In regards to a couple of meetings that you'll all remember, I gave a statement in regards to the council's finances and where we stood at that point. Now there's been some confusion around that, particularly with some councils. And we've received some quite concerning emails in regards to like what I said and what I didn't say and what I meant. If councillors are confused, I'm worried that maybe members of the public are confused as well. So we just like to update you on what was said in that meeting, just to remind everyone what was meant by it. I thought I'd do it before public question time, that if there was any questions or I haven't been clear, you can ask me. If that's alright with everyone. So, as far as budgets are concerned, and I'm going to keep it really simple. When you plan a budget, as everyone knows, the budget looks for the year ahead, and you try and stick within that budget. As a council, we have what we call reserves. So reserves is money that we can dip into if we need to. And previous reserves have been great. Last few years, they've been fine. At the end of every year, we look at what we've spent and how much percentage we've got into those reserves. And that's a measure to say, did we budget properly and did we stick to it, or did we spend more than we needed to? Now personally, I don't have an issue with going into reserves for the right reasons. So if we go into those reserves, we can explain why. I'm okay with that. The reserves as they stand at the moment leaves us with £373,000 in reserves. Now ideally, that doesn't need to go lower than 300,000. If it goes lower than that, certainly no lower than 250,000. Now, as I've mentioned, that is for things that we really have to do. We have had to go into those reserves already, but the reserves that we've had in, the beginning of the year. Now, 41,000 of that was for the increase that we did on staff wages. So we brought our staff, any non-management staff, in line with other councils. We brought them up by 5 points. Yeah, to bring them in line. So that made they've got a rate of inflation pay rise to give them a good standard of living. So that's something I'm not going to apologise for. I think it was the right thing to do. Yeah. The other thing that we had to do so far was the path around the lakeside. Now that's something I mentioned in that first meeting that I chaired as something that I believe could have been budgeted for and wasn't, but also could have been done in previous years. Now this keeps coming back to me, we've spent this, we've spent that, and it's all in your budget, which I'll take the things that we've had to do. What I won't take is things that have been pushed, and I will be honest with you, if it's things that I think have been spent previous years, then I will say it. And I think it's going to be brought up tonight. We've got this on our desks at the moment, talking about what's been in and turnover, and I didn't have the numbers present in the first meeting. To me, the figures still don't matter. If you're spending more than you said you were gonna, you're in a worse position than you started with. And I think that covers everything I wanted to say. I mean, I'll go into it further, but like I say, the things that were being questioned over, I'm finding quite concerning. So the staff wages was one of them. The extra use of electricity and gas from the Fitzwilliam Centre. As everyone knows, Fitzwilliam Centre's thriving at the minute. It's been really underused over the years, and we're using it for the Chocolate Group that Maxine runs. Food Bank ladies are running a great service. We've got the Warm Bank going on there. We've got the Youth Club. We've got the Lego Club. There's all sorts going on. Again, maybe we didn't budget for as much gas and electricity as we thought we would because we've not used it before. We can't really tell. But I'm happy for that to come out of reserves because it's the right thing to do. And I think that was it. I think the other things that were mentioned that we'd got into reserves for were, there was the lift which didn't come out of reserves, wasn't it? And then the other thing was, there was a staff grievance, that's come out of it. I can't stop the staff putting a grievance in and us having to investigate it. Did that make sense? Is everyone comfortable with what I'm saying?
Well, I think we asked for a forensic audit and we haven't got one. And as far as finances are going, it should have been a forensic audit to check things. You might be happy, but we're certainly not.
Okay. So,
We want to know why people spending money on that council when we shouldn't be. We are having it properly authorised.
so what we've got in place at the moment is an auditor who's an accountant and looking
Yeah,
into
but it's not a forensic audit, and we had a vote here to do a forensic audit.
We
That
asked-
audit has cost more than Jimmy
It hasn't.
Kenyon's original.
It hasn't. It hasn't. So the audit that we've got at the minute is coming in at around £5,000. The audit that Mr. Sprinkle did was, yeah, so it's £6,000. That was for 1 year. So we allowed it in 3 years. So we got a quote from Mr. Sprinkle for doing exactly the same as what he did in 2019. We said, if we had what we had in 2019, whether, I'm not going to get into whether that was a forensic audit or not, because I can't have that conversation anymore. If we got exactly what we got in 2019, it would cost us in the region of 6,000 times 3, because we wanted it for 3 years. So that would be £18,000. We're spending about £5,000. If anything in this audit comes out that suggests there is anything that would need to be reported to the authorities and therefore require a forensic audit, we will be doing that. But at the moment, as far as a forensic audit is concerned,
No, so why
Because
do
it goes to the
you
authorities. It goes to the police, and the police would then investigate a forensic audit. But so, if we'd have paid we've got no evidence, it should be allowed. Can I just explain that a forensic audit, and I will be slated on Facebook for this tomorrow, so crack on with it. But a forensic audit is where you've got evidence of wrongdoing. We are asking an auditor.
No, it's not.
Alan,
Well,
am I correct? We've gone, right. So we've gone to Mr. Frenkel, everyone believes, did a forensic audit. He's come back to me and he's told me that what he did back in 2019, can I finish what I'm saying,
Well,
please?
yeah, but let us have a try as well.
I will do, but everyone's convinced that this audit was done in 2019 was a forensic one. It's not in as much detail as what we're getting. We've seen what this lady's doing. We've seen what she's looking into. If she finds anything that shows wrongdoing, we will request a forensic audit. But we can't do that until we know what we're looking for. A forensic audit can go through all the information. Where's the evidence? And that's what we're looking for now. We're looking for, is there any evidence of whether there's any wrongdoing?
Right, a forensic auditor is trained to find evidence and to look for evidence. It doesn't have to wait for the evidence to hit him or her in the face. That's the difference.
Well, then what
Right, and secondly, the police will not pay for a forensic audit. It will come back to the council if it progresses.
Can I just explain to you something that I
Nobody wants
did?
to get on at you, Donna, because
No, I
we know
get it,
and
but
we
I think
understand.
people are-
You've come in and you're following it round, and we understand that, but the thing is, what we're frustrated about is, there's people getting away with a lot of things here, what shouldn't be getting away with. And we want to know why they're getting away with it, not a normal audit, or an audit of what you're doing. You might say, oh yeah, we're going to fix the foot and we'll put it in a forensic audit. That, we asked for a forensic audit. Mr. Draper should have found somebody to do a forensic audit. And that's it.
I mean,
We shouldn't have second best. We've had second best with Jimmy Kenyon and everybody else. We don't want it. We want the audit. We asked for a forensic one.
right, so if everyone's comfortable with what happened in 2019, which came back as 4 pages of, we already know that the report that we're going to get is massively detailed. We've had the discussions already. We've had the conversations.
So why aren't you sharing it with us then?
Because we have seen it, we know it's going into detail, it's been reported and it's coming in the meeting on the 1st of December. So that's when we'll be talking about it. She hasn't finished yet. But what she's doing is in more detail than the original, we'll call it a forensic audit after 2019. That forensic audit wasn't in as much detail. If you read it, it says it was at a high level. That means
Probably because she didn't have anything to find. Have you ever thought of that? The reason that the Frenkel report didn't find much, because it was all in order.
no, it's because it was asked to look at specific items. So it was asked to look at the dealings with Kirby Road, the sports complex. What, the Frenkel report? That was Mr. Kenyon. Hang on though, I was saying the Frenkel report weren't right either, because I read it and it makes, so the Frenkel report weren't right. I see, I read it and I thought, it makes sense. What we're getting is more information.
Can we just wait until this comes out in December, and then you can see what we have actually done? We can't go into detail at the minute because it's not come out.
But no,
But
Maxine,
you don't understand what exactly.
There were issues where we wanted everybody's computers and everything checking, not just.
That's not a forensic audit.
No, that's not.
Nobody was asked
That's
for.
and
That's a forensic audit wouldn't go through all council
Email.
emails.
That's a different one. But that would have actually been police.
That'd have to go to the police.
Yeah, that would have actually gone to police, and I have
Take
actually sent a lot of stuff to police anyway.
That was fetched up in the meeting that in fact, I think you actually mentioned it, that all data should have been.
That weren't part of this forensic audit.
I'm not saying it was part of the audit, that it was something where we were asking for that.
Well, all we're asking you is to just be patient with us and wait and see what this display brings back on in December. I've got, Donna will tell you I have my misgivings about this. But I have had the meetings with this lady. I have been in.
No, I trust you. You're going to explain that you are not in any shape, way, or form getting on a comment. And if it comes back and you can prove from it, then all well and good. But it isn't what the community asked for.
It's about legal expertise and it's about a threshold that's got to be reached. It doesn't matter whether you and I think it's wonderful. We're not suitably qualified to make that judgment. That's why it should have been a forensic audit. They would regard it as an expert witness.
Which we could have done, and we did get a quote from Mr. Frenkel, who could do exactly what happened in 2019.
Can I just
Mr.
say, Mr. Frenkel, but then you're saying that that's Mr. Frenkel, but then you're saying in 2019 when Mr. Frenkel did it, that wasn't a forensic audit, so
No, but people
why are
think
you
it
asking
was.
him about
Because
a
people
forensic audit
say
when he
it.
doesn't do a forensic audit?
I'm not.
Sorry. No, I'm not getting at you, but I just don't understand that at all.
People
Donna.
believe that what was done in 2019 was a forensic
What it all
audit.
wanted?
No.
No.
No, right.
Oh, so
why go
Facebook
back
tomorrow,
to
it'll tell you,
Frenkel?
I'll be told I'm
Well,
lying. But,
So why, if people ask for a forensic audit, why would you go back to a company that don't do a forensic
we did
audit?
so. What we asked for originally, we said, and I put this forward, can we have an audit like happened in 2019? It was then explained that that wasn't a forensic audit. If we want the same level of detail as we got, because people seem happy with that, we could do that. What Mr. Frenkel couldn't do, for the price I said, £80,000, it wouldn't be coming to the officers, it wouldn't be getting anything in paper, it wouldn't be looking at receipts and things. We would be, anything we got, we would be emailing to him. Whereas this lady's been into the offices, she's been into the cafe, she's been everywhere, she's got every little bit of information.
What's Georgine and
We
Morton?
don't need
I think £18,000 is nothing compared with what we spent in solicitors and barristers.
It's not, but we wouldn't get I don't think it's getting through them. We wouldn't get as much detail as what we're actually getting.
You're happy to say that what we've got
I'm happy to say, let's wait and
is better
see.
than what we would have if we'd done it twice.
Yes,
So that's fine.
it's in detail, whereas the
We
original
can
one was
wait
kind
till
of.
1st of December till it comes out and then we
And
can.
then if there is something, then we send it on. And if anyone's got any evidence that they think is, proof that there is financial misdoings, Please share it with us.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, we'll go to public question time now.
Right, obviously,
Can we, do you want to order, please, because I can't hear Catherine?
in the July accounts, you've got an amount for a disabled gate fitted in the lakeside. I've been to every meeting that you've held. I've never heard that discussed. So, first of all, can you tell me what sort of gate it is?
It's
Was
the,
it replacing a gate?
I can tell you quick one, it was actually the gate itself, so you know the gate on the compound that people the morning was closed, they've had a device fitted there so people with disabilities can like basically ring a bell and it's answered from behind the...
It's on camera,
Right,
so they just
camera,
press the bell.
Right, well,
and
And it was discussed in the meeting.
the actual, well, it weren't discussed in a public meeting, it must have been in a exclusion, because it wasn't, but in the accounts, it's for £2,666.90, and it actually states to supply a disabled gate and fit. So that's why I'm asking, is it a gate or is it just a mechanism?
It's the device on the gate, I believe, was that correct?
So it's
So
not an actual gate, it's just a device fitted on the
It's a
gate.
camera, comm system type thing.
Right, obviously, it doesn't explain itself very.
Maybe it's because disabled access that.
Yeah,
It's working.
I was just going to say.
Because that's what I was going to say. Again, why are you going through a third party to actually purchase and fit it rather than going to the actual supplier? But if you're saying it's due to cameras and everything else, it probably needs to be better explained in your minutes.
Do you want to ask your question?
Yeah, just a quick one. It's actually a question from a member of the public that's watching the live stream. Could we have an explanation as to why we're in November and we've only got July's finances up? We seem to be lagging massively behind.
We've been behind for a while now, but in August will be out next month, and September not be after it. We'll always be a month behind, obviously. Apologies for that, we are catching up.
Bearing in mind, Alan's been doing all the work on his own. We've now got a deputy clerk, which is going to alleviate some of the things that we can.
You transferred from reserve. Can we come forward, please? 'Cause I can't hear.
You transferred funding from the reserve of the council.
You reserve, yeah.
You transferred funding to the division.
Oh, that's how it works, isn't it?
And has that been approved by the full council?
Yeah.
Has that been limited? And what amounts are we talking about? Because in September, you approved the contract for the path round the lake.
Yeah.
Which was after May. So has that been, is that out of reserve or is that from the current position?
That'll be out of the world.
And has that been transferred from reserve?
The
as
cash,
well?
no, it hasn't been transferred.
What we do is we move, once we get below a certain amount, is that right, Alan? Then we move it in. So it'll come out of the reserves just when it's needed.
But how is that transparent to the public?
What do you mean, how is that transparent?
Where is it shown in the account?
Where is it shown that it's been approved?
It's been approved in September.
Yeah, approved.
No, it's not limited, it's been a transfer.
What do you mean, the transfer or the, we don't have to put it the transfers of money to cover what we need to spend.
No, when you make a decision to spend money over and above a certain boundary, you need to also consider, you've got to be able to consider where the funding is coming from.
We did, it came from, so we talked about it at the time, it went to public consultation, because it was going to be more than.
No, that was the actual, that wasn't the funding, that was the work that went to consultation. The funding of it is a vote consultation because
We
we're
don't,
talking about.
we don't know how much the tender, what it's costing.
Yeah, so tenders go to exclusions because obviously you can't share what everyone's, that's how it works. So we agreed that it was £53,000
And we don't know that.
We don't know that.
We don't know that. Because that's one of my,
It'll be published
It has
in-
to be private at the time.
Yeah.
Obviously, but that is published in due course.
that's what we're saying, it's not being, it said that you've awarded it, you've awarded.
I'm not sure what's not in the minutes though.
It's said in the minutes,
It's a crazy amount.
in the minutes of the 28th of September, you put that you've agreed.
But it doesn't say how much.
To a company.
Right.
Doesn't say, it doesn't say how much that is going to be, it doesn't say.
I think you've got to say different things. So Kathy, I agree completely. It doesn't say how much it is, which we definitely should be doing that. I agree. What you're saying is how it can be funded. Well, we knew we had a budget for it, therefore we know that's coming out of reserves.
We want budget for it.
Well, that's
not in this year, so anything that's.
I covered that at the beginning of the meeting, though. That
Yeah, I know, but anything that comes out of reserves should go to full council for approval, but yeah, it's coming out of reserves. And it will get minutes. So that us, the public, knows.
Alan, we should have, but what about this about it coming out of reserves has to go to full
And if it's not, yeah, and if it's not, any contract that's been awarded is now provided out of your house because you haven't actually used what you thought where the funding is coming from.
Can I ask a question? Why a lot of financial decisions appear to be made in exclusion?
So
Right.
anything
I
with a
don't
tender has
understand
to
it.
be, because it's a contractual agreement. So we can't share the tenders, Alan's probably going to explain this much better than me, but the tenders can't be shared with the public. Kathy's point is spot on. Once we've made the decision, we should be sharing it, and that's point taken. But anything being spent, we can't talk about it until we've agreed it.
Quite honestly, I don't think it's in the program of press, I think it's in this paper's office.
To be honest, I get what you're saying, right, but that's the detail, right? But in terms of general principle, why can't things be discussed such as, well, we're going to need a new path, right? Why can't that be said, not an exclusion?
Yes, so it did, and then it goes into the exclusions.
That did get
It did
discussed.
get
That did get
discussed.
discussed publicly.
So it'll get discussed, anything to do with money goes into exclusions, and then, but I do take on your point that absolutely, let's publish what that should be.
So did we, sorry, did we have how many people tendered for the pass? So again, because obviously I've seen on the minutes who that contract was given to, and I've looked and he's only actually been in business for 2 years, so we checked that he's got public
We looked at it, we
liability.
looked at the work and everything, and we looked at what the others were offering, and the work wasn't as good, and it weren't to our requirements. So one of them was just like shale type stuff. It was the most cost effective and not our
And
requirements.
when is that due to start?
That's why we didn't get them.
So when is that? Just because you're having a site meeting, that doesn't mean when is the work going to
I
actually
don't know,
start?
that'll be,
Is it a local company?
The work probably the council has got.
Or is it?
And then it
Going back to reserve,
Alan, can you explain this?
financial regulations say at 4.9, changes in the earmarked reserve shall be approved by council as part of the budget control process.
Which we did.
the council doesn't have earmarked, it's got a general reserve at the moment.
But you've just earmarked £53,000 of it. That's what that means.
But it's not it's a decision that we make. So we said, we're going to do this, it's going to have to come out of reserves, and we agreed
That
that.
should go to full council to agree.
It did.
In May, before you actually.
No, in September. So May was, before May was the staff, April, May, and then the September was when we agreed the path.
Yeah, when did it go to full council?
In September when we agreed, so we said, are we doing?
Finance committee agreed it.
No, it went to full council in exclusions. We talked about, are we going to do this path? Is it going to come out of reserves?
Was that in October then?
was it September?
It was in the finance meeting.
Donna, was that agreed in exclusion? That's why you haven't heard anything about it, because it was in exclusion.
There's still something in it.
That it was in
I
the
believe,
finance.
am I right in saying that it
Unless
has
it's
been?
minuted.
Yeah, it has been minuted in exclusion.
But we've missed out the.
No, that was the finance meeting.
It was the finance meeting that we.
Yeah, we're put it in writing and we'll look into it.
Can I just say, there's a lot of controversy about head of security not paying rent. Does she pay away or not?
Can't mention it with the staff members in the public meeting.
Oh, for Christ's
You'd
sake.
have to expose in the press.
Does she pay away or not?
No.
We can't talk about staff in the meeting.
Right.
Is there a
Well,
policy?
it's how she treats people and everything. You
It's
can't talk
under
about it.
GDPR, we can't talk about staff and what they
Can
pay
we
and what
talk
they
about
don't.
the post? Attract and honest.
Can I ask that question?
Does the post attract them?
No,
Can
the-
defend it?
We can't discuss that today. She knows, you know.
That's something on you.
Yeah, but you can discuss it because you must have advertised that post and you must have put the terms and conditions.
I can't discuss it because I weren't there,
Not you.
I don't know.
Not you, John, it's not
What I'm
you.
gonna say is I'm not gonna break GDPR talking about
I'm
it.
not having a go at you, right, but if they actually recruited somebody, they must have put the job spec and the remuneration. Right, so you can discuss it. You can't mention the person who's got it currently, but somebody's asking you now,
So,
is there
so
something
the
doing with
question
anything?
is, does-
There is another one person in that role. It would be 100%.
any more questions?
Yeah, tonight you're discussing. I'm assuming that those quotes will be over £5,000. And again, the financial regulations do specify that anything over a certain limit needs two quotes. To actually
We haven't got the
support
quotes,
from
they're
the-
tenders, so quotes and tenders are different, is that right, Alan? Yeah, so we're gonna discuss whether we want to replace these things first. I think I'm okay to say that the bridge has been mentioned a few times. It's one of the things I mentioned, if you remember, in that first meeting, that, you know, we keep repairing it and it keeps, no one's ever suggested replacing it, that's something else we can get down the road. And as far as the, whether we want,
I'm not.
It's in exclusion.
it's an exclusion, but we can talk about what it's about. The other one about the boiler is, you know, we might need to start thinking about replacing the boiler. This building is 11 years old. So it's, do we want to get a quote? Therefore, when it becomes next year's budget, we can budget for it. We're not saying it needs replacing now, it's, do we want to budget for it in next year's?
It's not clear in the.
It's an exclusion, so it doesn't need to be clear. It needs for us to have that discussion and we'll bring it back once the decisions we make.
Well, there's been a service plan of boilers and that, obviously.
Service every year. We can't, I'm not going to go into too much detail around the boiler, but we will bring it back once we've done it. Any more questions? Right, if we move on then to.
You're on about all this money putting in, paying stuff out to all things. When I were on finance, well, vice chair of finance with George Wells and that, and then when I moved on to new council when they left, she's not here tonight, she's not coming. When she declared that she will chair the finance, I said, well, she said, well, you didn't know what you're doing. She said, we don't put any money into a pocket for saving or anything. She said, you don't know what you're talking about. So what's she talking about then? This is what, and I do ask her when she listens. And I said, well, where any spare money when you've been on
So,
finance?
yeah, I don't know what that means, but we definitely do have reserves, so we have that money that sits there. And it's like anything at home, you always have that.
Yeah, but
you try and have that little bit put away for it.
She said there was no reserves left
There were no
for her to
reserves.
take over.
Yeah, so there
I
was-
know how much there was.
Yeah, and there were, yeah, you're right.
There was. quite a bit in reserves.
I think this is the reader's letter that we've been given, that'll prove what the answer.
But she said then that there wasn't. No, no.
Lost things are said by lost people.
But she sat, I mean, downstairs in the other room, but she was sat outside of it, and she said there was no money in the reserves, and why should we have reserves when people in the villages have got and everything anyway? And I said, you've got to have reserves just in case of emergencies.
You're right, I think there's probably been a misunderstanding there, but we'll definitely, they've got reserves now, and they're not where I want them to be, which is why I made that statement.
I know, I understand where you're coming from, but you weren't doing that. Well, she weren't doing a job anyway, like what she thought she was.
It's not an easy role to take on, and
Well, I wouldn't want to take over from somebody like her.
and like I say, I'm sorry,
And I told her to her face, so I'm not just doing it behind her back.
No, it's fine.
Come on, move on.
Yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of questions asked. I've tried to answer the best I can.
I understand where you're
And
coming from.
you know, if there is a decision that I'm not the right person for it, councillors can vote.
Nobody said that,
No, I'm just saying, I'm just saying, a vote of no confidence, and if it goes against me, I'd happily step down, and someone else can be chosen with more experience. No, I'm just saying if the council, you're not, it's these questions we're getting in a tough one. What I'm trying to say is, yeah, it's a tough one. I know you're not. But the councillors have got that choice, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, but it's what, putting it bluntly, it's what they've passed on, but it's what they've passed on, and you're having to sort what they've made a mess of. It's as simple as that.
Just stick with it, Donna. That's what people's wanting you not to do. Stick with it.
Thank you. Right, moving on then, because we've done a lot of question times. Minutes to receive and approve the minutes of the meeting held on the 28th of September. We've got a mover? Seconder? Yeah, subcommittees, 28th September and 30th October, I've got a mover. Seconder? Payment of accounts, September and October. That's what we just covered, yeah. Next one is item 7, grant request. To consider a request for a grant support from the British Polio Fellowship, Yorkshire Region. So this is a Yorkshire charity, isn't it? We do have money available for grants, however it isn't a local charity, but it is obviously a very worthwhile charity. If I put a motion forward of £100,
Yeah, that's brilliant.
a second of that, yeah? Are we all in favour? Christmas donations to local schools. So this is just a standard item. We do this every year. So I think we give £100 to primary schools and £50 to nurseries. It's just to consider whether we want to do that again. I think, again, it's budget at 4. It's always been in the budget, and schools are struggling just as much as everyone else at the moment. So I like to put forward that we can do what we normally do.
Well, that's what you're saying now, because I've been, some of the schools have been asking what we'd be doing. Because usually they'll get in the selection boxes, the small ones.
Well, they buy what they want with it, don't
Yes,
they?
that's what they'll say, but then they said then it will get in stock last year.
Don't remember that.
What?
It didn't get stocked, they said it, but they were
I
told.
think they were a little bit late last year getting the money, weren't there, some of them?
Some of them were,
Some
yeah.
of them got paid in March, if I remember.
Well, the checks were issued before Christmas, some of them were
Oh,
cashed.
so the
some
cash,
were cashed.
okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't see a problem with it, I've got a question.
Can I ask what's that going to cost in total? It's not £600, that's £600.
Yeah, it's not a lot
And
when
it's
you look
budget, it's in
at.
the budget.
Yeah.
So, I suggest we do it, I've got a second list.
Yeah.
Yeah, all in favour? Kensworth Community Centre Christmas, to consider the close down of Kensworth Community Centre, so this is the standard,
Yeah, and Sandygate will go.
and Sandygate as well, so this is the normal, we'll close down over the Christmas period. I've checked with Alan, and there are no local groups that use it over that Christmas period, so, do we need to vote on it? Yeah, I think that's fine. Yeah, all in favour?
Yeah.
So, warm banks, this is the one I've already mentioned, so, the warm banks that are running, if you remember, we put this forward, I want to say early September, we put this forward, and it was agreed unanimously. As I mentioned, we have had some concerns raised by one of the councillors who was worried that we were spending this money on warm banks and the extra heating in Fitzwilliam. I vehemently disagree with that. I think that's the right thing that we should be doing in this current situation. Taking a bit of hammer over it, but I stand by my decision on that one.
I don't think you can do one in Hemsworth and not one in...
It was both. So it was the extra use of Fitzwilliam and doing the warm banks up here. Confused by it, to be honest, but maybe I've misunderstood, but I don't know.
We're not actually using extra, we're just covering it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's all.
I know.
We're doing it on the same day as we do it full back.
The buildings are already...
with the full back.
It's something we need.
Can't you approve, yeah?
So as far as that's concerned, I wanted to put it on the agenda because first of all I wanted an update. So Alan already gave me an update this morning on how well Hemsworth went. Sorry, we're in the middle of a meeting. Can we come to order, please? And I don't know if Sharon and the ladies want to give an update on how Fitzwilliam's going.
It's doing great. We've
Yeah.
got 2 weeks. First week was quiet, second week we're a lot better. We've got some activities on for people to come now. We've had a lot of interest on Facebook with it. We're getting more and more people. We're doing free soup, what we're using from fair share, what we get free charge. We're doing soup in a roll, which is not costing us anything as such. Tea, biscuits, for people to go out there. We're getting people that come first in the morning and don't go until 3 o'clock.
It's brilliant to hear.
It's brilliant, yeah.
Now another thank you for doing that.
Yeah, and massive thank you to everyone that's been involved.
You're welcome. I'll have to celebrate tomorrow.
Can we come to order, please?
I just wanted to say, the first one down here was on Monday, and there's over 20 people in, and I think it went fantastically. We're arranging some bingo and quizzes and things like that next week, so I'm hoping there's going to be a lot more in. And also it's been reported on Facebook today that Wakefield Metropolitan District Council are opening all the libraries daily as warm banks if anyone wants to be down there as well.
But is that going to work for all doing it on the same day, so no?
Well, the library's open every day, but I mean with our warm bank it's every Monday between 10 o'clock and 1 o'clock.
Yeah, and ours is Friday.
So,
If they're going to
and
do
yours-
one on a Monday and a Friday, is it going to put...
No, I'm saying the libraries are open anyway, they're opening them up anyway.
Yeah.
I think they're extending their hours so that people can go down to keep warm,
Yeah.
read a book, have a chat, whatever.
But I just say it would be nice to see some
I
houses.
don't know, there's not going to, to the best of my knowledge, there's not going to be any food on or anything like that at the libraries.
Sorry?
But it's just opening up the buildings, that's all.
Yeah, it's no food on.
Yeah.
Just open up, you can get a hot drink.
Yeah, drinking.
But it would be nice, so you're all welcome. And then you our kettle's always on.
If I come down on a Friday, it might be a divorce case, I'm sorry.
Well, you can always bring your missus.
No, I left her in the house on Monday with coat on, it's on the heating up. Sorry.
You're charitable with her.
Right, so moving on then, so that's it. So just to explain why it was on the agenda, I wanted to cover it all.
Just going back on the rate to Christmas, are we allowed to open Christmas, if it's willing to on Christmas Eve, because that's Friday. And that's when we're going to be giving out Christmas hampers.
I can't see why not. I can't see why not.
It's what you said on.
Oh no, yeah, but it's the Friday. Yeah.
What was it? Well, let's put it
On 23rd, we're giving out Christmas
23rd.
Don't read it that, but we're giving out Christmas hampers.
Is it the 23rd or the 24th?
23rd.
23rd.
Don't read it.
It's not anyway, yeah. You're allowed.
Too late, it's on Zoom.
Right, so that ends the public part of the meeting. That is the public part of the meeting, so we're just going to exclusions of press. We have got another 2 meetings after this. So we could just ask you to either wait outside the door or downstairs or outside, whatever. Come back in. Thank you very much.
You don't come back.